Hi, it's Jane, and on Healthier You today, my subject that I went searching for was food sustainability in weight loss. And, and I was basically talking about sustainable ways of food management, of just the food that we eat, sourcing those foods that was sustainable to the earth. Well, the first part of this, I'm going to talk to you about a different type of sustainable thing, and then I will get into that the real subject that I was looking up. All right, but let's begin with the medical disclaimer. Always check with your physician before starting any exercise or dietary program. Information here is my personal research into different health topics and is not to be considered medical advice. So when I did this search and I put in there foods that are sustainable to the earth for weight loss, this very first article came up. The 7 most sustainable diets to start in 2024, according to registered dietitians. A sustainable diet is flexible and balanced enough to stick to for a lifetime, and here are those that are recommended. These are the top 7. This was not the idea that I was looking for, but I thought I would share it anyway. The top 7 are the Mediterranean diet. If you're looking for a tried and true eating plan, look no further than the Mediterranean diet. We've talked about it before. It stands out for its emphasis on whole, minimally processed foods like fruits, vegetables, nuts, lean proteins, and olive oil. Not only that, it's flexible and it has a no-frills approach to helping eating. So that was one of them. The second one is Hara Hachi Bu. I have never heard of this one. However, Hara Hachi Bu is a Japanese eating philosophy often touted as the secret to a longer lifespan. It is believed to have originated in Okinawa, an island in Japan that's home to some of the longest living people in the world. Unlike other diets that require you to meticulously track carbs or calories, this practice has just one simple rule. Eat only until you're 80% full. Pairing this practice with mindful eating can make it a bit easier as you go. It can aid in the weight loss maintenance by allowing the body more time to recognize and signal fullness. By stopping short of full satiety, we reduce the risk of overeating and consuming excess calories. That might be something to look into. I'm just curious now. Flexitarian diet. If you're interested in eating less meat, the flexitarian diet might be a good fit. This eating pattern shifts the focus to plant foods, but not exclusively. While this diet is all about consuming a variety of plant foods daily, such as fruits, veggies, whole grains, nuts, seeds, and legumes, animal products are also okay in small amounts. This next one I thought was rather interesting. I've never heard of it either. Add, don't subtract. The add, don't subtract method takes the opposite approach of the most traditional diet plans. Instead of avoiding specific ingredients or eliminating entire food groups in your diet, it emphasizes adding more nutritious foods to your weekly menu. Don't know anything about that? Gonna have to look that one up. Heart Healthy Diet, which is also considered the DASH diet. It was originally developed to lower blood pressure levels. It's become increasingly popular as a way for overall health in the long run. The other one was mindful eating, and that was basically it. The 7th one I did not list. Hold on. Sorry, I had to find it. Mindful eating. Mindful eating doesn't include any guidelines on what or how much you should eat. Instead, it reframes how you eat, bringing your focus back to your food, minimizing distractions, and encouraging you to fully enjoy the way each bite tastes, smells, looks, and feels. Mindful eating is something that is used in a lot of eating disorder clinics to help people with whatever eating disorder they have to begin to process their food and change their look at the way they look at food. So it's a good method to follow. The other one is the plate method, and this goes with the USDA's plate method, which provides you the idea of dividing your plate so that at any given meal, half of your plate is vegetables and fruit, 1/4 is protein, and the remaining quarter is grains or starches. So, that was the main difference in those diets. But, like I said, that is not what I essentially went for. What I was looking for was earth sustainability when it comes to food. So, here we have how to reduce food waste and eat sustainably. Imagine the resources, water, land, and energy that go into producing the food, only to end up in landfills, emitting harmful greenhouse gases. By curbing food waste, we alleviate pressure on our planet's resources, combat hunger, and promote a more sustainable food system. One of the things they tell you to do is to embrace imperfection. Picture this: a carrot with curves, a potato with personality, an apple with attitude. In the world of sustainable eating, imperfection is celebrated. Ugly produce, as it's affectionately known, may not win any beauty pageants, but is just as tasty and nutritious as its flawless counterparts. Next time you're at the grocery store or farmer's market, don't judge a fruit or vegetable by its cover. Embrace the imperfection. Focus on flavor. There is they tell you there's several places you can subscribe to for a weekly or bi-weekly supply of ugly produce, like Misfits Market and Imperfect Foods. They even have ugly organic produce at the fraction of a normal cost, which is a win-win. But keep in mind that when you are at regular grocery stores, there are laws, and the USDA has regulations about certain foods. They have to meet certain criteria. So you may not see that in your grocery store. You may see occasionally a blemished item, but very rarely. And I'll say this: I have gone to regular farmers markets, picked up tomatoes that at the very top they looked like they were starting to split open. They're not, but they've got a funny ring at the top. Pick those up, and those have been some of the best tomatoes I've ever had. Better flavor. Or they may, or like when you get butternut squash, there may be a funny little indent on it, or it wasn't turned correctly. It's got a little bit of imperfection. So, and of course, we know most of our orange juice comes from those oranges that didn't cut the USDA guidelines for acceptable fruit and vegetables. Plan like a pro. What's for dinner? Instead of letting this query haunt you like a hungry ghost, take control with a little meal planning. Set aside time each week to plan your meals, then take stock of what you already have in your pantry and also in your fridge. Planning ahead and shopping with a list will help prevent impulse buys at the grocery store. Not always. But it also ensures you use ingredients before they perish. Can those vegetables be turned into a flavor-filled stir-fry? Can you use that little bit of flour to make homemade tortillas? What about turning those canned garbanzo beans and quinoa into veggie burgers? It's like a culinary scavenger hunt. If you need help planning your meals based on your goals, learn more about what they call WAG meals, and that is at a website called loseit.com. Pay it forward. Let's face it, we all get random cans of peas, omni-corn in our pantry because we needed one for a special recipe, but wanted to take advantage of the 4 for $1 deal. Do they even have those anymore? They're more like 2 for $1. Before they expire, donate them to a local food drive so they can help families in your community that don't have enough. If you have a blessing box nearby, put it in the blessing box. But I would say this. If you picked up that in that kind of a deal and you haven't used it in about 1 to 2 months, donate it. Here in our area, we have a church that has a food pantry that is open all the time. You can go anytime you want, pick whatever you want that's there, no questions asked. So look for those kind of places. Love your leftovers. I know a lot of people don't like leftovers, but they always get a bad rap. They either are relegated to the sad realm, forgotten Tupperware containers at the back of the fridge, or given to the family pet. However, don't fear it. Leftovers are the unsung heroes of sustainable eating. Instead of letting them languish in culinary purgatory, give them new life with a little creativity. Turn yesterday's roast chicken into tacos or chicken salad sandwiches. Transform leftover rice into veggie stir fries. How about whipping up baked potatoes into a tasty mashed potato? With a dash of imagination and a sprinkle of seasoning, leftovers can become the highlight of your next meal. And they tell you, this is a tip. Use glass containers instead of plastic to preserve freshness. And it works. My grandmother, maybe your grandmothers did this, or your mothers may have done this in the past. She would, during the week, the different vegetables, she would save all the leftovers, put them in one glass container, and then maybe we had roast beef left over. So she would throw that in with the veggies and some kind of beef stock or vegetable stock, tomato sauce, cans of tomatoes, leftover tomatoes, you name it. And she would make like a soup for a meal. If she had leftover pasta, she threw that in there. So we always teased her about those mystery meals. But you know what? They got eaten. And they were good. Practice portion control. By serving yourself up the right amount, you can prevent food waste and promote healthier eating habits. If you're still hungry, you can always go back for seconds. This is really useful when eating out. Ask for a to-go box before diving in and divide your meal up, so that way you have a meal for tomorrow. Get creative with your scraps. This is what I was talking about. One person's trash is another person's treasure, especially regarding food scraps. Instead of tossing those carrot tops, broccoli stems, and celery leaves, why not give them a second chance? Celery salt from celery leaves. Layer washed and dried celery leaves on a baking sheet and bake for 1.5 hours at 200 degrees. When crisp and dry, grind them into a powder and add fine sea salt for some culinary gold. Broccoli chips from broccoli stems. Cut the stems into thin slices, toss with olive oil, your favorite spices, and a dash of salt. Bake at 375 for 15 to 30 minutes, 20 minutes. Get creative with your scraps to make flavorful stocks, savory sauces, pickled or tangy treats, or nutrient-packed pesto. I don't think I've ever had broccoli chips. I have some broccoli I need to eat. Maybe I'll do that with the stems. If you have the possibility, do this. Compost, compost, compost. Throw those scraps into a compost bin or pile, and you're going to have some of the richest soil for your gardens, no matter what kind of garden it is. So keep an idea, keep thinking about doing something like that. As you can see, sustainable eating isn't about sacrifice or deprivation. It's about savoring every bite while minimizing environmental impact and seeing the potential in all of your food. With a dash of creativity, even the smallest scraps can be used for top-notch cuisine. So let's raise our forks in eco-consciousness to a brighter, tastier future for all. One of the things that I always found interesting is, when you get that jar of peanut butter, you can't get all the peanut butter out. Make it into a sauce. A peanut butter sauce to use as a dressing or to use over rice with some, maybe you've made a stir-fried rice with chicken and vegetables and that rice. Use your peanut butter sauce, as a way to use it up and that way help clean out that jar. There's a lot of ideas that we can use. All right, guys, that is it for today's Healthier Year. You. Hope it helps you a little bit, gives you a couple of ideas and some thoughts to think about. All right, guys, see you again next time. Bye.